What's up everybody, it's Robin Gaming here. So first thing you can immediately see is I actually bought new equipment. I now have a green screen behind me, and I've also bought this new lamp, which means that the lighting in my room is much better because I felt like my face cams were getting way too dark recently. So I hope you like the improvement. I don't exactly know yet what I'm gonna do in terms of the, the face cam, if I'm gonna keep that or I'm gonna do it without the borders and stuff like that. But I don't even know what I'm planning to do with this video. Just look at what I've done and see if you like it or not. Let me know that in the comments. And then for now, let's get into this actual video, right? So I pretty much wanted to make a spontaneous video about something I recently came across. Like basically there was this tweet from, a certain account or whatever that posted pretty much all of the PlayStation 4 exclusives planned right now that we all know of at the moment. And I looked at the list and I just saw how big it is. And not only that, but also simply the fact that there were so many games on there that I can't wait to play. And it made me kind of think about these last few years and stuff. We all know how the generation went. I felt like we all know, and it's factual, that PlayStation has been doing the best compared to the Xbox, especially compared to Nintendo, of course. With the Xbox, that was mainly because of its mistakes, during the launch of this generation, pretty much. With Nintendo, it's more, it's different reasons, and you all pretty much know what it is. I guess PC, is kind of a completely different league or just a different competition. It's not really like, you don't really feel like it's PlayStation against PC at all in any way. They're just two separate platforms that exist alongside each other, I really believe. But, basically, like, although PlayStation has been doing the best, I'm not quite sure if that really was deserved in a way. Like, if I look at the last 3 years, I felt like it's been gradually getting better. The reason why I have always been the biggest PlayStation fan myself is actually because of the exclusive games. And, Sony has so many different studios that make these awesome games for them, these different experiences, mainly single player games, which I really like, the type of adventure games or games that tell a great story, something like that, and I felt like, especially in the beginning of the generation, that feeling wasn't really there yet for me. I didn't, although PlayStation 4 was the console with the best looking graphics, for example, and the games ran the best compared to the Xbox One and stuff, gaming wise, I feel like although they've been slightly better, it really wasn't that big of a difference. Look at games that it launched with, like, what was it, Knack and Killzone Shadowfall, kind of like, okay games, nothing really more than that. And also in the upcoming time when we got Drive Club and like The Order and stuff, all these games that were good, I guess, or okay, but just not on the level of like amazing or something like that. That started happening a little later down the road. We've got Bloodborne in 2015, which was very, very good. And this year, or I should say 2016, actually, we're in 2017 now, of course, Ratchet & Clank and Uncharted 4. I think those three exclusive games that I just mentioned really brought back the feeling to me like, yeah, PlayStation has the best exclusives. But if I simply look at the list right now of what they've announced, both at like E3 and at PSX, I see Uncharted The Lost Legacy, a standalone DLC, which is undoubtedly going to be amazing. The Last of Us Part 2, I don't need to say anything, going to be absolutely amazing. Horizon Zero Dawn is looking like a great open world game. God of War we saw at E3. Death Stranding is going to be freaking insane by Kojima. I'm so glad that they, or it's good to see that they bought well, they didn't buy the studio, but you know what I mean, right? They are helping fund that game, and I think it's going to be something really special. Crash Bandicoot is getting remastered. Detroit Become Human looked awesome at E3. Then we have some other games that I don't really necessarily care too much about, but that are undoubtedly going to be great as well. Gravity Rush 2, Gran Turismo Sport, Knack 2, Dreams, Spider-Man, PS4, Days Gone, although, I'm still very mixed about that one. Also, a AAA game that tries to do something new, and then I haven't even mentioned the Japanese games that are on the list, which are not for me, but at the same time, there's so many of them that I'm sure that people who like the Japanese games, like, they'll be very satisfied with what's coming out, And what I have always been talking about is that I feel like this generation really has been about open world games, multiplayer games, RPGs, all that type of stuff. And the sort of like linear single player experiences that try to tell that story, that try to be this kind of experience in a way, were not there that much. And now Sony is really bringing that back. With E3 they brought back emotion into many of their games. God of War has taken this complete new twist. Death Stranding of course has that. The Last of Us 2 is gonna have that. Just so many awesome games coming out, and where, without trying to sound too much like a fanboy, like, you know, the thing is, when I make a video like this, there are always going to be some people that will be calling me a fanboy, right? In the end, I play on PS4, I play on PC, I bought a Wii U, I don't have an Xbox One, but I'm still very open to these platforms, you know, and there's a reason why I haven't bought an Xbox One yet, and it's not because I'm against the Xbox One or I'm against Microsoft, no, it's just that there have been only a few games there that I actually want to play, and just a few games doesn't make it worth it for me to buy that console. Like right now, I'm looking at, you know, Sunset Overdrive I wanted to play, but not necessarily that much. Apart from that, the rest I can pretty much almost already play on my PC as well, so there's just not, you know, that much of a reason for me to buy an Xbox One. And I also feel like, you know, they're just coming out once again with, if you look at last year, you know, a new Gears and a new Halo and a new Forza almost every year, and it's not that original anymore, and they don't focus on these games I really like, which are the ones that go a little deeper than that aren't just your typical only gameplay driven experiences. No, PlayStation has the games I really like because they offer both great gameplay and also something next to that, like a cool story, like a setting that's really intriguing. You know, look at Horizon or something like that. Or they give it a complete twist where the new God of War now is a totally new setting as well, you know, and look at something like Death Stranding that's insanely over the top, of course. And you know, the reason why I have been such a PlayStation fan, undoubtedly I have been, and yeah, that is because there is a reason for it, like I said. It's because they always offered those games, especially on the PlayStation 3 generation, I felt. And with the PS4 recently now, I didn't have that feeling as much anymore. It started coming back over these last 2 years, like I said, but now especially with E3 that we had, with PSX that we saw, I like that their studios are once again starting to put out these quality games that are coming up that are just looking to be so exciting. Like, these games legitimately excite me because I don't know what to expect from them. You know, it's not just another game in this certain series that is gonna be the exact same again. No, it's either gonna be new IPs or it's gonna be, you know, a reboot of a series or a new installment in the series that actually tries to do something completely new. And that's what I love so much, basically, about, you know, the PlayStation games, and they're really starting to bring that back, which I just appreciate a lot, you know. So I just wanted to share my thoughts about that with you all. I feel like right now, you know, with PlayStation winning this generation, at this moment, I really feel like, you know, it's starting to be, I really start having the feeling again that it's deserved, and I just hope Sony continues this, because I'm so glad that where all these other developers are making those open world games and those multiplayer games and RPGs that are cool, but at some point just get repetitive a bit to me personally. I like that what I've been asking for so much recently is these more linear story driven games, or that just try something new. I really appreciate that they are starting to bring those back, basically, and so in that way I just hope they continue doing that, and I hope that these games are all going to deliver on their promises. So with that being said, let me know how you feel about this topic. How do you feel about the current lineup of the upcoming PlayStation games coming out, you know, on the PS4? And then, yeah, with that being said, leave a quick like, tell me what you think about the setup and stuff, and then I hope to, you know, see you again next time. Leave a quick like if you enjoyed the video, it helps my channel a lot, so thanks a lot for watching.